Hello and welcome to The Cutting Room, the movie show from all the right movies. I'm John, and with me today it's Matt.
Hello.
And Westy.
Hello.
Westy, last time, George Lucas. This time with the branded cap, Spielberg.
Spielberg. I knew you were going to say that. I am the police. I want to keep you on your toes.
Directing your own film called All the Right Movies.
Really pretentious title for a film, that.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, it's a trilogy.
Well, this time round on the show, we're looking at a film that was once a flop, then a cult classic, and now I think it's probably just now classic.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, you got to be fucking kidding. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about it, Matt?
Well, we've all lived through a pandemic where we couldn't be sure who had this virus, who could we trust. We wanted to isolate from each other. No one can afford to put the heating on, so we're all freezing. And frankly, nobody can trust anybody now, and we're all very tired. So, no better time to talk about this film. This one's really important to me. It was the first film I was ever properly obsessed with. I can still remember watching it for the first time. I was far too young, but despite being young, I wasn't scared only because I was so amazed by what I was watching. And I can still remember going to bed that night just thinking about it. And ever since then, I've thought there's nothing like it before, been nothing like it since. It's the film I've owned the most physical copies of. I've had it on VHS, then DVD, then Blu-ray. I don't have a 4K telly, but I might still just buy it on 4K anyway, just because it's what I do with this film.
Laserdisc?
Laserdisc. I'll get the Laserdisc. No one watches Laserdisc anymore, but I'll have that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fair to say I'm a big fan of it and looking forward to getting into it on this.
Yeah, same for me. I mean, I didn't see The Thing as a teenager. I think you probably did, Matt. I was well into my 20s, but 80s science fiction about a weird alien is right up my street, so I was a fan from pretty much the very first watch. I like John Carpenter. I think we all do here. So it's good to be talking about him. We've also got Kurt Russell, who's great. Kurt Russell's hair, which is great in this film. Dean Cundy, his DP. Ennio Morricone with the scores. So some big names to chat about. And the special effects work on display here. All practical, obviously, as it's 1982. That's so bonkers. It still blows me mind now when I see it. And there's theory after theory after theory out there about just about every aspect of the thing, that final scene especially. So we're going to resolve that once and for all, right?
Well, hopefully. See what happens.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just wait here a while.
Yeah.
And Westy, what about you in The Thing?
Well, I mean, it's just a stone cold classic, isn't it? I mean, you cannot argue against it. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's just endlessly watchable. It's just brilliantly entertaining, so confident, so accessible. There's 12 characters and you kind of relate to everybody. It doesn't seem like it's a mess. It doesn't seem muddled. There's loads of space. It uses the claustrophobia really well. And this was the ultimate film for me when if you'd been on a night out and you come home, you've got a kebab, you've still got a can in the fridge. I'm putting the thing on. Why not? And it works out normally better than the night out, if I'm honest with you. It's absolute classic. It's just one of them films where you can just put it on, you just go, yeah, I'm just entertained from the first opening shot, from the first minute, all the way through. It's just fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Great. Well, everyone should just wait there a while, see what happens as we get into it on The Thing.
Let's do it.
In remote Antarctica, a group of American research scientists take in a sled dog, and after discovering it's a shape-shifting extraterrestrial looking to assimilate them, they become embroiled in a fight for their lives as fear and paranoia run riot. That's the actual real plot. Oh, really?
That's brilliant, isn't it? What a pitch.
Directed by John Carpenter and written by Bill Lancaster, The Thing is a remake of The Thing from Another World from 1951, produced by the Terman Foster Company, distributed by Universal, and in the main cast, Kurt Russell as R.J. McCready, Wilford Brimley as Blair, T.K. Carter as Knowles, David Clennon as Palmer, Keith David as Childs, Richard Dysart as Copper, Charles Hallahan as Norris, Peter Maloney as Bennings, Richard Mercer as Clark, Donald Moffat as Gary, and Thomas G. Waits as Windows.
Wow. Well done. You didn't take a breath there.
Wow.
That's a lot of actors. Too many to make you read.
Yeah, exactly.
So how The Cutting Room works is that we analyse the movie by breaking it down into its key filmmaking components, in this case the direction, the writing, the cast, the visuals, and our own individual highlight, and then we'll each give the film a final score out of 10.
Yeah.
So Up first, then, we're talking about The Thing's director. It's John Carpenter. John Carpenter had already built quite a name for himself by 1982 by directing acclaimed low-budget films like Assault on Precinct 13, cult horror The Fog, and Escape from New York, and one of the most influential horror films ever made in Halloween.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he found himself handed a $30 million budget to make The Thing. Big bucks.
Yep, big boy shit.
How did he do with that budget, Westy?
I think he did fantastic with that budget, to be fair. I think this film looks incredible. I think he's so good with actors, and this film shows that, how he commands everybody, how everyone's got a personality, and he's so in charge of that. The film itself has got a personality, the location's got a personality. To me, this is just pure John Carpenter. It's just one of his kind of signature films, and I think it's right up there with the best that he's done. I think it's just fantastic. He's just the master at building tension out of nothing, out of pretty much, just human relationships, and the way that this is filmed and shot with the confidence that I said at the top, just with that ability. It's just brilliantly entertaining, and it should be horrific. It should be disgusting. You should want to turn this off when you first see what the thing does to the dogs. And
it is pretty disgusting, though.
It's absolutely rank. Yeah, it is. It's fairly unwatchable in places. You can't be like, I'll sit and have me tea and watch this thing at the same time. Like, you need to be after a night out. Kebab, yeah. You're like, it's all right. That makes sense now. But it's just one of them things where he just makes it so engaging and just so watchable and just so scary, but at the same time you can't turn away from it. And that's what John Carpenter's so good at. And I think that's what he did with Halloween. You can't stop watching it. You want to, but you just can't turn away from that tension that he builds. And he just creates such an atmosphere, and he's just a genius at creating an atmosphere and building worlds. And he does so here. It's just incredible work. It's incredible direction, and just a flawless film, I think.
Yeah, well, John Carpenter himself says The Thing is his favourite film of his, and if it's good enough for JC, it's definitely good enough for me. I totally agree with him. The Thing is comfortably my favourite Carpenter film. This is the one where, like most classic films, but maybe for the first time for Carpenter, he has a lot of talent he can direct and lean on. He's got a really strong cast, and he gets performances from them. One of Kurt Russell's best ever performances for me. He brings in Rob Bottin to supervise the visual effects. He did an astonishing job that we'll talk about more. He gets one of the great composers in Ennio Morricone, and he comes up with some fantastic music. What's impressive is that Carpenter's working with all these big talents, but The Thing still feels like a Carpenter film through and through. It's still got the distinct visual flair his best stuff tends to have. The way the camera moves in certain shots in the film feels to me like it's made by the same guy who made Halloween. A criticism I would say that I do have is that this is Carpenter's first time working with a decent-sized budget. On a film like this with a big budget, there's always going to be action. And it needs to be impressive and spectacular when it comes. And I think compared to the other big action director names, Carpenter is found wanting a little bit here. The big action sequence here comes at the end of the film where McCready takes on the Thing in a one-on-one fight.
Fuck you too!
It's basically the same sequence or the same idea as the end of Aliens, where Ripley fights the Alien Queen. But the difference in quality between them is massive for me. Iron Jim shows Carpenter how it's done. I'm on a much smaller budget as well. He only had $18 million in total. But Carpenter's not known as the master of action. He's known as the master of horror, and all that stuff in The Thing, the paranoia building, the tension you could cut glass with, the horrific moments when the Thing attacks, all fantastic, all orchestrated by Carpenter. So in all, he did a brilliant job. His best film, no question for me, and one of the all-time great remakes, I think, as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
And Matt, I know you love it, so go on.
Well, for me, this film, it feels like it's the culmination of something for Carpenter. It feels like this film is the one he's been building to his whole career. And he has made brilliant films before this. Obviously, Halloween is in there, Escape from New York, but every single element of The Thing is so sharp and so controlled and so well thought through. You know, it says quite a lot that he can tell Ennio Morricone what his score should sound like, which is like this, he make it sound like me. You know, that takes some doing to see that in Morricone.
It doesn't sound like a Morricone score at all, this film.
No, not at all.
Brilliant.
No, not one bit of it. And it's a film, I think, on one level, it feels so cinematic and it feels so widescreen. But on the other hand, it's also really confined and claustrophobic, which Carpenter pulls off brilliantly. And there's elements like the fact that Carpenter shoots so many of these interior shots with the ceiling in full view.
Yeah.
Knowles, will you turn that crap down? I'm trying to get some sleep.
Which sounds an odd thing to highlight, but that adds to the sense of being trapped.
Yeah.
There's no way out of this film because there's no way out of the frame. That's the detail which Carpenter's thought it through. And you add into that all those corridors that just stretch off into darkness, the way the camera prowls. Like, the camera doesn't move around the characters, it stalks the characters in this film. The way he composes his shots so the characters are nearly always surrounded by lots of negative space where something could just pop up. All quite small touches by themselves, but the cumulative effect is incredible, and it's why this film feels so paranoid. And I also like how he avoids the less is more approach. I mean, we talked about Alien there. In Alien, you see it for what, maybe 3 minutes, I think, in total, across 2 hours.
Yeah.
In Jaws, you barely see the shark for a different reason. But here, Carpenter's like, no, I'm going to really show you this creature. And he doesn't back away from showing it, and I love that about it. So, from a technique point of view, I think it's flawless. I think he gets believable and really edgy performances from the cast. You can tell every single actor was bought into his vision here. Everyone's on board. But maybe what's most impressive, and we've mentioned it already, for a film that is so overwhelmingly bleak and downbeat, it's so watchable.
Yeah.
I think you said it, John, you should only want to watch this once and never want to put yourself through it again. But as soon as this film finishes, you think, you know what, I could watch that again.
Yeah.
Right now, from the beginning. It's so rewatchable. So, what he does here, I think, like, if Carpenter was put on this earth for one purpose and one purpose only, it's to make this film. That's how good a job he does.
Nice. Imagine if Rob Bottin had done the shark in Jaws. Scooped out the water, splitting in half, and just being shark teeth within itself.
Well, interesting story about the thing is that the studio's first choice as director wasn't John Carpenter. It was another director known for horror movies, though. Do you know who it was?
Okay. I don't.
I did know. I've forgotten.
It was Toby Hooper,
Toby Hooper, yeah.
who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974. Universal already had him under contract, so that's why they wanted him. And Hooper did write a screenplay. It's a good job it didn't get made, though, because I think his reputation as a horror movie legend might have been ruined by the sounds of it. Because in his screenplay, the alien in Hooper's version didn't shapeshift or assimilate hosts, it just ate them. So changing it to be less original there and worse than what Carpenter did.
Yeah.
The main character was called the Captain, and the film was about his obsessive mission to find and kill the thing, which sounds very Captain Ahab, Moby Dick.
Yeah, yeah.
And tonally, Hooper wanted this film to be a horror comedy with lots of slapstick humour. I mean, I've not read those drafts, but apparently there was a scene in there where a character gets caught by the thing after literally slipping on a banana skin. which sounds terrible. And Lawrence Terman, the producer on the thing, said it would have been one of the worst movies ever made.
Imagine Morricone doing that score. Yeah, I want to see it. Wow.
So, as well as that, All the Right Movies also have a Patreon account, if you weren't aware. And one of the benefits of being an ATRM patron is that we'll answer your questions on the show. And we have a question now from one of our patrons, Ryan Shippo.
Hey guys, got a question for you. Is The Thing John Carpenter's best movie? If not, where would you rank it?
Ryan gave us a little bit of a helping hand there with his DVDs all lined up, but other classic Carpenter films include Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China. I've already said that I think The Thing is Carpenter's best, but what do you think, Westy? Where's The Thing stack up?
It's his best for me. It's number one, I'd say, because I love all of these films, but I'll put this by the how many times I've watched them. So the rewatchability rate of it. So I'll put The Thing first, Big Trouble in Little China second, and I'll put Assault on Precinct 13 third.
Lovely.
That's a night in. Or a night out, then a night in.
And Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement, which says a lot considering how good his other films are. Halloween is a masterpiece, but some of the performances drag that down a bit.
Hello. Hi, Annie. Oh, hi, Paul.
That's not the case here. The Fog's very scary, but it's quite thin in terms of writing. Again, not the case here. Escape from New York, that's loads of fun, iconic character, but it's just not as rewatchable as this one is. And Big Trouble, it's hilarious, I love it, but it's all over the place, that film. It
course
doesn't
it
have
is.
the complete focus that this one does.
Excellent.
So, yeah. It is excellent, but yeah, it's all over the place. Of
course it is.
This one, it's so focused, so tightly done. It's his number one, without question.
Yeah.
So John Carpenter then, great work on the thing.
Yeah, fantastic. Career best.
And that is the end of part 1. Please come back for part 2 though, where we have more big opinions, laughs, and the making of story on John Carpenter's The Thing.
See you there.
Yeah.